Happy to send it to you afterwards. Not a problem. Okay. Gidon, yes, thank you for recording. Great. Hi, I'm Arnie Draiman, talking about CRM today. The outline for today's webinar is what is CRM, the basic lingo. You need to know the jargon of what, so when you start to purchase one, move from one to the next, you need to know what they're talking about, features to look for, and of course, some little hints in optimizing and maximizing your CRM. That's the main goal for today. So, by the way, please interrupt along the way when you have questions. Don't save them for the end. I prefer them along the way. It's just a lot easier, I think, in this kind of presentation to be able to answer any questions. Unmute yourself and just jump right in, okay?
I have a question.
Yes, great.
Hi, it's Karen. Will you be sharing your presentation afterwards?
Yes, I think I said I have a PDF of this presentation, and I'm happy to email it to anybody afterwards. And I have a few other resources, some links to various things online that I'm happy to share as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And in addition, Gidon is recording it, which is great because I forgot to mention that. So hopefully we'll have a recording put up somewhere. I put it on my YouTube channel, and we'll have a link to it if anybody wants. That's fine. So first of all, let's define the actual words. What is CRM? CRM is customer relationship management. Okay. Now we're going to talk about what all that means. But first, it's a piece of software. Please understand that you will hear these words used interchangeably, and it's fine. As far as you're concerned, software equals an application or an app, a platform, a program, or a tool. It's all, everything is referred to that, online these days. I have this piece of software, I use this platform, I have this program, I have an app, they're all the same. As far as you're concerned, don't worry about it. They all go hand in hand, it's fine. You should know that most CRMs are cloud-based. That means you can log in from anywhere. What is a cloud? A cloud literally means somebody else's computer. That's all it means. It's not a cloud. It's not a cloud in the sky. Okay. Whenever they invent terms, it's always interesting how they get to them. But we can use. Oh, Inbal. Hi, Inbal. Welcome.
Hi. Hi there. Sorry. No,
okay.
I miss you guys. I miss you already. I'm surrounded by little kids, but I'm trying to be here as well.
Yeah. So just you can just mute yourself, please, Inbal. Thank you.
Sorry for that.
Most CRMs are cloud-based, so you can log in from anywhere. It's great. And that becomes important later when you have a lot of people who want to use the same CRM, or you yourself are on the road, traveling, etc. Customers. Now, customers are the same as, remember, as I just said, it's a CRM, it's a customer relationship management. Customers can be the same as donors, potential donors, VIPs, staff members, contacts, participants, alumni, applicants, anybody, okay? Call them whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me. Just know that in most CRMs, because the CRMs are really geared towards businesses, and they're geared towards customer relationships, right? That's what it's all about. So that they would, they may call it a customer, but if you it's a donor, as far as the piece of software is concerned, it's the same thing, all right? And then what is management? Management is the interactions with your customers, okay, as well as the behind the scenes info. For example, what they call data mining. If you want to do a search for everybody who was born in January and send them some sort of birthday announcement. If you want to look for people who live in Saskatchewan, because you'll be taking a trip there, but you want to make sure that everybody who you have in the database comes up. You do the mining for all that data inside, okay? And lastly, of course, is the idea of a relationship, and that gives you the bigger picture of your context, of everything that's going on, and that's why it's called a CRM. Okay, so what is a basic CRM? It's basically a good computerized address book. That's like a Rolodex online. So it's like Google Contacts, which has contact information and notes. That's really what it's about, correct? You want to organize your contacts into groups, right? I'm giving you the simple part, right? Maybe donors in one list and potential donors in another. So you have here this first graphic on the left where this contact has been labeled great guys, okay? And then down at the bottom, he's a great guy. So therefore, anytime I pull up the list of great guys, I know who I'm getting. Get this whole list of great guys, and I know what to do with them. I'm going to send them a special email or whatever I want to do with them. And on the right here, we have a typical Google contact sheet, which we'll go over a little bit more later, where I can do all kinds of labels and other information that I can add to there. Okay, more lingo. Let's learn some more phraseology so you understand again and don't get lost. A contact. Contacts are people. Okay, they're donors, and or whatever you want to call them. It's just names and personal info. Now, a lead. This is very important. A lead are people who are potential donors. I'm generally going to focus in the fundraising world. That's what I believe is the most important to you. But you can apply this, for example. Let's say you're talking about applicants to a program. So a contact would be, you have 1,000 names of college students, and the lead are maybe those 200 people who are potential applicants who actually want to apply to your program. Okay, those are your leads. Then you have an opportunity, which is used a lot in the business, and that's a potential donor or a lead of some sort who's actually interested. They answered you, they wrote you back, they did something to indicate that they are more than just a general lead. They're alive. And then, again, think about this as a sales operation, right? Then comes the quote. It's sort of like a letter of inquiry, right? But it's more detailed with specific programs and costs, right? So you're sending out information that's very specific to that particular donor in this case. Okay. More lingo. Let's keep learning. Then you have the deal, and the deal in our case would be the ask, and that's whether they made a donation or not. Okay. You have a campaign. You can use a CRM for marketing and outreach, and you can track all the details inside your CRM. You have the option to tag all of your contacts with different categories. Like that one was tagged earlier, great guys. You can do it here. You can tag it by location or donation size or any slice of the market that you possibly want, that you would want to call up that information later. You can tag all of them so it's easy to find them. And then you have activity, which is like a news feed. There are a lot of CRMs that offer the opportunity for you to, like a Facebook news feed, okay? That, information that's going on relevant, because you'll see in a minute that a lot of CRMs can be linked to Facebook and LinkedIn and not only social media, but other news agencies and whatever, so that something's happening, you can find out more about that contact that you have on your list. Okay, features and types of CRM. Basic features, and there's a lot of them. You always want to have something that you can do custom reporting. That was like the data mining that I mentioned earlier. Contact interaction tracking. Okay, you want to know who's interacting with your contact. If it's just you by yourself in the office and it's just one-on-one every time, that's great. Sometimes it's more than one person, and everybody who's involved in that should be writing notes inside that contact person's file, okay, online. Okay, a CRM has a place for document storage and delivery, okay, that you can actually send Word documents and PDFs and whatever you want from within, and keep them there so that you can, if you're traveling on the road, you want to be able to do it again. You don't carry everything with you, right? Mobile in your laptop. And then you also want something that these days is very important, is mobile access, right, from your phone. And it's usually through an app. You have to download the app or the software, the program, the platform, or whatever you want to call it, and access it through your telephone. no different than any other app you have on your phone. You want one that, again, is basic these days. It has social media integration. Again, you just hook it up to yours and to others, so that if I'm in your contact list and I post something on Facebook, it would show up in your activity, your news feed. Okay, you would like to be able to keep track of what's going on with your donors, see what's out there. Email integration, right? There are CRMs that well, it works both ways. Okay, that you could have a CRM that can send out emails, okay, like a newsletter, and you have email newsletter programs that can act like a CRM. We'll talk about that more a little bit later, perhaps, but just understand that that's an option, okay?
Arnie?
Workflows.
Arnie, can I
Yes,
ask a
please.
question? I just missed
Yes.
what you said about social media integration. What do you do with that exactly?
It works two ways, okay? First is for, it connects to your social media so that you can transfer information. Let's say you have a active Facebook page and you want your Facebook posts to be sent out to donors in some sort of email list or whatever, so that you can just pull the information directly. And it works the other way, where if you have an activity news feed of what's going on with your donors, and you have your donors' Facebook pages in their contact information, and they post something on Facebook, you'll get a note that Arnie Draiman just posted something on Facebook, and then you get to see what it is and may be relevant to you or your organization if you want to go back to him at some other point and ask him for a donation.
Okay.
Okay, is that clear?
I mean, I understand the concept, but I don't know how to do it. It's like part of the CRM.
It's
Like
supposed to be.
It's
It could be.
that you can access in the CRM. Yeah.
This is a basic feature. You can imagine the advanced one, which we'll get to in a minute.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Right. Sure. So workflows is just if you're familiar with the charts and how a workflow chart works, so that you can keep track of different activities and events. If you're having a big dinner or fundraising event, and you want to have step by step by step by step, you can keep track of it through your CRM as well, and to know who's been contacted, what's happening. It can carry you on throughout, and not just have you don't need a separate workflow document for it. You can do it from within. Quotes and deals management is how it's referred to in CRM language, which we would call request for funding and the ask. Okay, keep everything there, know what's going on with it. And now we can move to advanced features. Some of the basic programs will have some of these advanced features, some won't. Some are free, some cost extra money. Some of the fancier programs cost more money, so that they have these advanced features built in, and some don't. You have to judge what you need for your organization, and then figure out if it's worth going for it. If there's like one thing you really need, then you should really have that, because that'll make your life a lot easier. So one option is a call tracking and call center management. If you're that kind of organization that you have a call center fundraising platform of some sort. Social media marketing automation tool. Here you can, where it's automatic, that you post something on Facebook and it gets sent out, or you can automate how you want your social media to be used within your CRM, not just manually decide, oh, so-and-so posted, I'm going to contact him. It could be anytime Arnie Draiman posts about topic X, you could have an automatic response to him. Hey, I loved your post. Glad to see you're alive and well, or something. Email marketing automation tools as well. Okay, so it's the same principle, that you don't have to go through each one manually. It's done for you. It allows you to, the advanced features often allow you to do custom website forms, so that you know what a form is on a website, like a contact us form or more information, etc., and that you would want someone to fill it out. So the custom forms are just much nicer than just a standard form that you can create for your own organization. and get more information that's more suitable for what you need. In addition, they have a lot of them allow for website integration so that you can combine information between your CRM and what's going on your website. Again, it depends on how advanced you are in that area. There's e-commerce integration. You
Just
know,
one second.
if you were,
Arnie,
yes.
this website integration, I'm thinking the CRM, that's my own Rolodex. I'm not putting that out on my website. So what do you mean a website integration?
No. So that the, let's say, for example, you're going to have a ski trip, okay? And so you're sending out a newsletter from within your CRM, you have all the information. Your newsletter could then be posted automatically into your website, and the website could have automatically a form to fill out if people are interested, and then the information from there would go back into your CRM when they answer you, and you would get the notices there, the notifications, and then you would be able to respond to them, etc. So it's you control. It's nothing to do with the contact information. It has to do with the other things that are going on around your marketing. So remember, always keep in mind that this was. Hold on a minute there. Always keep in mind that this was done from a sales point of view. So it's all about PR and marketing.
What you said before about the website integration, it's more a workflow perspective than
It could be. It could be. It could just be. You know, when we're posting things on social media, and we want it also on our website. We also want it to send out in an email. There's no end to what you can do today. You know, we said that 10 years ago too, but we're so far advanced now. It's all with a click of a button, right? So it's easy to make these things happen. Okay, and e-commerce is the same thing. If you're selling a product, if you have perhaps you have an amuta that sells things or whatever, that's real e-commerce. But you could also have, if you're selling tickets to a concert or a benefit concert or whatever it might be, you can do it through your CRM. Many of them offer a blogging platform. There's referral tracking, meaning if I recommend somebody else to your organization, in the sales world, it's good for two people, right? It's good for the sales person who gets a referral because they often get a percentage or a credit for the referral, and it's good to know how the person got to there so that you kind of keep the system. You just know the more information you know about people, what's going on about your donors in particular, the better and more successful you'll be. Product tracking, again, if you have something like that you deal with, sales automation, we're talking about help desk, management tools, if you need that feature. Okay, let's go to, I want to explain for a moment the 4 types of CRMs. We'll probably only look at 1 or 2 that's appropriate for what you do, but just again, to understand the world of what a CRM is, you should know that there are 4 kinds. There's something called a conversation CRM, and as I write here, it's like a smarter team email app that instead of all the messy inboxes, everybody sending emails back and forth within the organization, everything else, you can just do it inside your CRM, so it kind of keeps track of it in order. If you've ever been on some sort of website that has a question and answer system where you have the question at the top, and then you have a response, and then we have another response, and you can respond to the first response or the second response. It kind of like does a hierarchy of how it looks online, so it's easy to see and follow. It's got lines sometimes, etc. That's what this can do. Okay, that can keep information centralized so that everybody can look at it and watch what's going on. Second kind is a lead and deal CRM. Okay, again, that would be more for like potential donors to be the leads, and you can add info as you track progress with them, etc. And here come the 2 that I think are probably more relevant. One is contact CRM. So you find out information that's important about your donor or potential donor, like their birthday, or their current position or a dish that they ordered last time you met for lunch. Okay, you'll be more likely to make a lasting connection. Plus, I'll give you an example. I'm whatever. Hiya Smith, I'm going to be in New Rochelle next week. And can we meet at that Italian restaurant? I know it's really, it's great, got great food or whatever, because that Hiya loves Italian. So boom, you're done, right? And that's the kind of thing that it's little things, but it makes so much difference to your donor, right? And just makes your life easier too. And the last one is a marketing CRM. And that's really like a PR marketing sales focus, okay? So it includes automated workflows that you can automatically send emails to a lead the day after they click on the link. Like somebody goes on your website and clicks on something, looks around. You should be able to know who they are and then respond to them. For example, as I write here, you could tag a lead as interested. You could tag it, meaning it gets tagged automatically once they've opened 4 of your emails. Okay, and you can follow the emails that are sent out through your email newsletter program. And you can see who's opened them and who hasn't. And if somebody opened 4 emails or clicked on 4 links from inside your email, that means they're interested. You should be in touch with them more than just other people who aren't opening your emails, etc. Okay. So this is a great quote. I just love it. So I have it here. The key is to have the CRM become a productivity tool and not a burden to the people using it. Jeremy Jocelyn, founder of ColapSpot. The CRM is there to help people do their jobs better and faster. Otherwise, nobody's going to update or maintain it. That is so crucial. If you keep more than one list, it's just not going to work. It all has to be centralized in one place. Okay, that's what makes the CRM so efficient and so useful for you. But if you're the kind that you get business cards, you take notes, you write them on the back, you put them in a drawer, you do this on the side, you have a Rolodex, as we mentioned earlier, you have the one Excel sheet for this and another one for that, and it's just not going to help you. Okay, you really got to make a concerted effort, and if anyone else is joining you in using the CRM, then you've got to impress upon them to make the concerted effort to keep all the information inside the CRM. So it shouldn't be that you call, Jeremy Jocelyn for funding, and last week somebody else already called them. Can't be. It should all be written there and everything going on about it. Okay. So as I write here, don't keep using your address book to manage your contact or your notes app to write down what was said during the call. Once you have a CRM, use it for that. There's a place for everything in the CRM. Most of them, they're not necessarily customizable, but you have extra fields that you can fill in information and kind of make it your own. Okay, and I'll show you some of that in a minute as well. That's the first part. Any questions on CRMs in general? Don't be shy. Okay. Great. Yes, Mr. Laniado, sorry.
Eli.
First thing, and when you do PR and marketing, you should always have your name and your organization in your Zoom name. Okay. So all of you who do organizations, I don't see your organizations listed. Just take a hint from me. It's good for you. Although Eli does, but you don't have your name there. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to give you another topic to talk about, Arnie. So that's why I didn't put my name in there.
You're so good at this. I owe you.
Thank you. I'll write that down. I really want to ask about determining what size of a CRM an organization needs. There are mammoth CRMs such as Salesforce for example,
Correct.
people have heard of,
Yeah.
which are used by tremendous organizations,
Correct.
I don't know, Cellcom, Partner, Hot, to manage hundreds of thousands of people.
Correct.
But not all of us are that size yet. So how do you pick the right size CRM that's not too big, but also not too small, that will allow for growth?
Yeah.
In the
So
future?
what you need to do is just sort of figure out by reading up the reviews of a CRM. So here, let me put this very beautiful graphic. I'm going to share my screen again. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Okay. So that's my beautiful graphic. You say did a really good job. You have here are just some websites with some CRM information. You don't have to write it down. I will post it in chat and send it if you want to you afterwards. Don't worry, you'll have it all electronically. And you can start comparing. A lot of these websites do the comparisons for you already, okay? And they will tell you this is, there are so many other factors involved besides just size. Because I'll give you an example. If you have 1,000 contacts and you have 15 columns of information for each one, right? First name, last name, telephone, email address. You think 15 is a lot, right? It's not. You hear where I'm getting to. Email address, home address, business address, position, office information, phone, donor amount, last time donated, etc. 15 columns is nothing, right? And 1,000 donors, you have 15,000 pieces of information is the way it looks. So you have to think about how you want to handle that information. Some of these will tell you, okay, for up to 500 contacts, unlimited pieces of information. Some will say up to 50,000 pieces of information. You kind of have to see what they are for free, what the next level of pricing is. We can look at some online in a minute. But I will come back to this list shortly. The point is, it's so hard to know because I don't know your information. I can't say a medium-sized organization should definitely get Salesforce or should definitely not get Salesforce. I can't say that because I don't know what medium-sized means for you and how many donors and contacts and staff and applicants and participants and all those people you're dealing with. Right? So I can't answer that specifically, but I can only tell you that if you look, for example, if I take that link, okay? So PC Magazine is a neutral place. I trust them and they're the people who work there. So they have picks it's their picks. It's the best CRM software. So they're going to go through all of them and compare back and forth to see what's going on. Okay. And that, I think, once you start reading up on it, you'll get a better idea what will fit for you and what won't. Okay. Other people, questions at the moment? Okay. So let me share my screen again. Let's just walk you through a couple fun things. Okay. Where did my, hold on, there it is. The awkward silence on the Zoom, oh, terrible. Why can't I find this show? There it is. It was hiding. I have so many windows open. Okay. All right. This is an Excel sheet. Many of you use Excel, correct? And I want to show you that this is what's called a flat database. It's flat. It's pretty much two-dimensional. You have an x-axis and a y-axis if you remember your math, or if you have a kid in school and you're helping them with their math. Okay, this is from 2011, so I don't mind sharing it. I'm sure everything here is outdated. This had to do with a publication list based on a certain set of keywords. They were looking, this organization was looking for information. So you could do it by outlet, you know, who the publication is, by country, what their circulation is, what their potential circulation was, the date, the headline, the opening text, etc. And I can even look further along. And I get to what the hit sentence was, what was important, the URL from where that article came from, and then contact, an email address and a contact person of who's involved there. Okay, this is a mess. And this is pretty orderly, right? I mean, I can sort it, right? I know how to use Excel. And by the way, there's a great article online. It's called 69 Tips to Use Excel. If I can look for it, I'll add it onto my list of things to share with you. But if you're using Excel, you should really know how to use Excel. There's so many easy and great functions there that you should be using to make your Excel life easier. However, it's a flat database. If I take one thing, I have to scroll across and figure it out. If I want to pull up, I can do a search for data, and it could give me like in this case, every publication from China. I could find that in here, right? It's not as robust as what a CRM can do besides the interface, right? The user friendliness of what I'm looking at. This, again, just it's flat. The CRM is going to be much more fun, more user friendly. Okay. Let's take, for example, I'll give you another example coming up here in just a minute. I'll open up my own. I want you to see my Facebook page. Hold on. Okay, let's open up, in this case, share screen, and let's go to one of our favorite programs, right? Everybody know Gmail? Okay, so in Gmail, right? Here you go. Have fun with all my life here. In Gmail, way over here on the right side, I have the famous 9 dots, right? And I can look for contacts somewhere in here. Sometimes you have to scroll down, maybe further down. Okay, here's contacts. I can open up contacts. This is Gmail, or let's call it Google Contact. Okay, here's my doctor, Dr. Mareski. He's great, and my 3 kids who are active and having a great time in life, etc. Okay, I can create a new contact. Okay, and let's say I want to put in Guidon. Okay, and his last name, I don't really remember it in English, so I'm going to type it in Hebrew for a minute. Ariel. Okay, company, he works for Guidon. Oops, I'm still in Hebrew, isn't that great? Whoops, he works for Guidon Consulting. His job title is CEO and founder, and his email address is what it is, his phone number is what it is. Notes, he's one of my great guys. Didn't spell great wrong, which, by the way, if you make a mistake entering information, your computer will never find it. So be very careful. And I can do save over here, and we're done. But Google, I love Google, offers you an option to show more. So now I'm back at the top screen, and I can add all kinds of stuff. So the nice one was that I had something here in Hebrew, Ariel, and I could do phonetic, so I can do it this way, or if I spell it right would be better, so that I could actually look for something phonetically as well. Okay, it's an amazing feature in Google. Thank you very much. Nickname. He hates being called Guido. Never call him Guido. He loves being called Giddy. So I have to remember that when I'm contacting him to call him Giddy. Okay, and I could add more information about his department, and if we had the street address, his birthday would be important, and the events that I have planned coming up, his website, the relationship. Okay, it's not just here you have a whole list in Google of brother, sister, father, daughter, but all the familiar relationships. But here I can add other information. chat, internet, and custom fields. I can add here as many custom fields as I want, with probably not as many as I want, but as many as you need, information. And then I could save it. And then I could, when I do a search in my contacts, the same way Google, you can do a search in Google for something, you can do a search inside your contacts. So this is a real basic CRM, but it's real basic, okay? It doesn't have a lot of those other kinds of features I was telling you about. This is just really an advanced Rolodex, an advanced address book, okay? So it's very nice to have. You should know about it. If you're not using it, use it, okay? For Google, and you should have it anyway, by the way, for all your contacts. You have all the information there, but it doesn't replace, in my opinion, a CRM, okay? Now, let's go back to that.
Can I ask a
I'll do-
question? Sorry.
Please do, Deborah.
Yeah,
Yes.
So, right. So does Google own that information if you put it in Google Contacts?
Say it again.
Does Google
again?
own that? Does Google have access to that information in your Google Contacts?
Technically, they do. I don't know enough about Google's secret, bots, B-O-T, robots, right? Secret bots that are mining that. They're doing their own data mining for your information. We're all worried about that today. And if you were to put down, the Deborah Nathan Foundation is worth, $100 million.
I wish.
Would they start contacting you? They would certainly start advertising in your Gmail and in your Facebook pages and all kinds of things, so they all share that kind of information.
We're all going to get CRM. We're all going to get CRM stuff thrown at us for sure now. So I just
Right.
wondered if there's an issue with your donor info, or not particularly.
I'm not going to comment because I don't know enough about it. My guess is they have access to it. Okay. What if they're allowed to use and not allowed? Who knows what's going on out there? I really don't know, right?
Okay.
As Arnie said at the beginning, most CRMs are cloud-based anyway, which means they're on somebody else's computer. If there's on Google's computer, on Salesforce's computer, or on somebody else's,
Amazon or any computer farm, they call them. So
I just know
Yeah.
with the GDPR restrictions we had in the UK, you had to be very careful about who could access your information. I don't know if it's relevant
So
here.
you can be careful. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that the other person.
Yeah, well, you have to get the systems have to be ratified, I think, in a way, like the CRMs probably
Okay.
have it.
So when you sign off on the GDPR today, Google is certified.
Yeah.
So the answer would be no. But I'm not going to tell you that it's no. So
Okay.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Okay, I'm just letting you know that I know how computers work.
Okay. I'm not a conspiracy theorist either, but I just wondered.
Okay, other questions? I'll move on to one more thing. I'll share some specifics with you. Okay, let's go find my screen. Too many things open. Oh gosh. Spotify, people want to listen to my music. Here it is. Okay, let's go with this. So let's start with, on that list of URLs I showed you, the first one I had is GLA, Global Leaders Associates. A lot of you know Shai Ben Mordechai. I will, as a full disclosure here, Shai and I have been friends for 35 years. We worked together at Hebrew University, 1986 or something like that. I don't know. And we've been friends ever since. Shai, for the last 20 plus years, created a software program called Magbit. Maybe back then you knew it as Magbit Alpayim. It's now 21 years later, and it's still going strong. Shai himself has customized Magbit for the Israeli and overseas philanthropy audience. You can look through his website. If I scroll down, it'll tell me here some of his programs somewhere. I go to most yeah, here's Magbeat is listed here. And they'll tell you all the things that Magbeat does. Okay, it's a CRM, beautiful, simple, and he will customize it for you. I don't get any money out of this, so if it sounds like I'm praising it, ask for every one I'm about to mention to you. Don't take my word for it if it's good or if it's bad. Ask people who have it, who are using it, and if it fits for you, not for them, because they might have bought Magbeat and hate it because it wasn't the right program for them. They should have gotten Zoho or Donor Perfect or something else. And they might love Magbeat and you might get it and hate it because it's not right for you. So you have to be a little bit careful and a little bit smart here. It's not one size fits all. Okay. So this is all the kinds of things that Magbeat can do, and it's on his website on glasolutions.com. Okay. If I move over, I can look at Zoho. Okay. By the way, Shai's pricing, if I'm not mistaken, is about 50, maybe $55 a month, something like that. So you can, but remember, it's 100% customizable, and he shows up at your door, helps you install it, transfers everything that you need. When you buy something like Zoho or other ones, they are often what we call in a box, off the shelf. Okay, so it's a lot less customizable. But if all the basic features work for you, and a few of the advanced ones are not expensive enough, or not too expensive, then great, go for it. Okay, so you see here when you're looking at, it says $12. You go, oh, that's a lot cheaper than Shai's 55. You have to read the small print. $12 per user per month. So if you're the only one using it, that's fine. If you have 3 people in the office, it's going to be more. You have to, again, figure out what works for you. Many of them will offer a free trial. Okay. They certainly offer either a free trial or some kind of demo software that you can get a feel for it and see if you like it or not. Again, it doesn't fit for everybody. Let's look at another one. Ooh, outside North America. Nah. This is called Donor Perfect. Very popular. I would say among small to medium-sized organizations, Shai's, Magbeat, and Donor Perfect are probably the most popular. And from medium to large, Magbeat, Donor Perfect, and Salesforce comes into play. I'm not going to show you much about Salesforce because as Eli was saying, Eli, apologize. Yeah. I'll never get it right now that I mixed it up. Salesforce is huge. It's humongous. Now, they make one for nonprofits, Salesforce for nonprofits. There's a whole Facebook group, Salesforce for nonprofits. And there are people in our group here in the Facebook group, that Resource Development Professionals in Israel, who help run it. And they know all about it. You can speak to them about it and let them try to convince you that it's worth your while. And if it is, great, go for it. Salesforce is the Rolls Royce of CRM. You may not need a Rolls Royce. Okay, you have to decide about that. And
Arnie,
yeah.
Can I ask, please? Is there an issue of any of these programs not supporting Hebrew?
Yes.
Hebrew emails.
Absolutely. So you need to always be sure not only about Hebrew, but I'll give you even a better one. Because Shai, in his program on Magbeat, he can do currency conversions, including shekel. And many programs don't deal with shekel. Okay. So it sounds small, but it might be like a huge pain in the tush at some point if you can't handle just something so simple. So you need to check each one again carefully, depending on how much Hebrew you do. If your entire audience is overseas and the person running it is an English speaker, and there's really no reason for the Israeli staff or others to need to add notes in Hebrew or anything else, then it's not a problem. If there's a lot of Hebrew involved, then you want to check to make sure they can handle the function. If it's just language and notes, that's one thing. If it's currency conversion, if whatever else may be involved, you should know about that. So here, this is Donor Perfect, and this is their pricing.
Arnie?
Yeah. Yes.
I might be confused. I think you said that Magbit and Donor Perfect are good for small, and then you got medium to large, which includes Salesforce, and I think you mentioned something else.
Well, I said Magbit and Donor Perfect, I think, are the most popular among small to medium.
Okay.
And then medium to large are those two plus Salesforce. But understand, there are so many people using like Zoho, which I just showed you, and Send in Blue, and I don't know.
I'm asking about what you mean by small and medium and large, because if Donor Perfect is for small and medium, it starts at $100 a month, then that seems pretty large. How about for minuscule? What CRMs are good for those people who are just starting out with CRM and don't want to spend a 2 months in a course with Salesforce?
Right. So there are some that offer you free for up to 1,000 constituents or records. Like again, Donor Perfect talks about constituent records, right? So 2,500 would be $180 a month. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just light.
Right.
Not even their main one, right? So, but you have to think, even if it's $100 a month, right? It's $1,200 a year.
Yeah, it's very important. Obviously.
I don't know what your annual budget is, right? But if your annual budget is at least, let's say, $100,000 a year, right? Let's go very small, $100,000 a year. $1,200 is, I won't say not significant, but if that's your investment to make everything run smoothly,
it's worth it.
It's not terrible.
No.
Not terrible. And like I said, Shi's is $55, so it's even, a possible, good competitor in that case. There are free ones as well. What's nice is once you have your information in some orderly fashion, it's usually pretty easy to move from one CRM to another. Not always, and they're not always exactly compatible, but in general, pick a number, 80 to 97% of the information can move over pretty quickly and pretty easily.
So Arnie, do you?
Problem is the first time. Yeah.
You showed us Google Contacts.
Yes.
But do you have one of those free or up to 1,000? And you're right. $100 a month isn't a lot of money for somebody running $100,000 a year or even $50,000 a year if it's going to work for you, and then you can grow with it. Even if you can't grow with it, but at least you've introduced yourself into CRMs. I started working with the Salesforce for nonprofits, and I said, "The heck with this, I can't even get started with this. I want something that I can just jump in and use." So
I just want to add something to that if possible.
Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Chava. I also work at Herzog College.
Who's minding the store?
Sorry?
Who's minding the store if you're all here?
Well, and I'm just going to add and say that in addition to what you just asked, but in the past I worked with Salesforce, and we used to have a freelancer come in and deal with the maintenance of Salesforce because it was so confusing and hard. And so in addition to everything else that we're mentioning or the expenses, if you're going to need someone to do that for you, that's an added expense. And saying that, we were a big staff of people at the time using Salesforce, and I'm happy to hear if this works differently with other CRMs. Each person had their own habitat, and we used to find that people inserted information differently. And so it was like the quote you brought before, which I really identified with, because it ended up being such a pain that we used to download what we had on CRM to Excel, from Salesforce to Excel, and work on the Excel, and then we never really updated the CRM after that. And it was like, it was terrible.
Worthless. Yes. Those are very good points.
Is there a way to solve that once you have many users?
Smack them. I don't know. Cut their pay. Don't give them snacks in the kitchen. I don't, it's the carrot and the stick. Give them a pay raise if they're using it.
No, it's not that they weren't using it. It's they were using it, but each person, like we just, it wasn't intentional. It was like the way people updated information was just different.
Well, it's wrong. Meaning,
Right. But then you go back to having to pay to someone to supervise it. But okay.
well, not super. Well, okay, maybe supervise it, right? It reminds me of a system like when you're in the army, there's a certain way of doing things. Not necessarily the right way, but it's the way, and not even necessarily the easiest way, but it's the way. And nobody does anything different because they all know they have to do it that way. Okay. So I would think among a group of people, you would be able to work out the way so that everybody understands that this is the way we do it in our organization. Okay. And if you do it differently, you're not helping us. Not beneficial.
All right. I agree. I just think it's something that has to be understood that it's not only the system's not magic. It's a lot of effort around it.
Correct.
So can I just ask a question about that? Like
sure.
About Salesforce, it is like the downside of it that it's more complex and that it takes more to invest to learn and understand as opposed to the other two, Magvita and Donor Perfect. And also it's more expensive, I assume.
And it's more expensive, yes.
On the Facebook group, they have like whatever they have resources to learn how to use it.
You can go on YouTube and learn how to use any of these. There are people who are really good at watching YouTube videos and they become yoga masters, right? And there are people who can't handle the YouTube video, have to stop it every 3 seconds. And where do I click? What do I do? And so they prefer somebody in person who will hold their hand. And it depends on you, right? Salesforce is probably the most complete, besides being complex. It's the most complete CRM. Now, you may not need all of that. If you're only using, or let's call it utilizing, 12% of it, then you don't need to buy Salesforce. But even that 12% might be better than some of the other programs because that 12% is so good for you. It's really what you needed. You really have to do the free trials, the demos, the free software, online or in person, and just play with it and get a feel for it.
Thank you. I'm just wondering what time is this going till? Just so I know.
I'm here. I'm not hungry yet, so I can stay on for a little longer.
Okay.
If anybody has questions, I am happy to stay. I'm pretty much done with my part of the presentation. I showed you different kinds of it and different aspects and things. If I can answer your questions, fine. If we're all here, we're all colleagues to a large extent. So if you can answer each other's questions, that's fine too. I'm happy to moderate. Gidon.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Arnie. And it was actually a very, very good introduction, even though I thought that I was a little bit more advanced. You gave me some good pointers. I wonder where everybody is holding over here. As far I'm just starting out. I'm graduating from Google Sheets, and I need to move into a new CRM. And I discovered Bloomerang, which I like. Of course, it's only good if you're only USA based, no Israel stuff, or at least that's what they told me when I tried to use them. And then even that was too far away from Google Sheets for me to feel comfortable with. So I discovered Airtable, and I'm again, some of the things that you said are basic. Airtable is no way that's going to work. But even still, I'm thinking of it like using it as a whatchamacallit, training wheels. And then once I'm more used to a relationable database or something, like, then I can move on to maybe to Bloomerang, and then from there further. That's the way I see things. Because forget it.
Yes.
We talked a lot about. A few people who talked a lot about Salesforce, and forget it. When I'll get to be $10 million big, then we'll talk about Salesforce.
The way Shai Magbeat explained, he gave part of the seminar last week that I gave to some organizations. He will show you an Excel sheet that, like I said, it's pretty much a flat database with, X and Y axis, right?
Yeah.
But if you think of a Rubik's Cube, okay, that's the relationship between all the different sides. And when I move one side, it actually affects at least 2 or 3 or 4 other sides. I want to know all the information that's happening around.
Right.
And that's the way a good CRM works.
There you go. Is there anybody else? Well, first, Deborah's been holding her finger up. Why don't you?
Oh, go ahead, Deborah. I'm sorry.
I have a question. Sorry. Okay, so is there like such a thing? Does this exist, or can we create a sort of a checklist of questions you should be asking about a CRM? Because I think a lot of the problems that I know from my long career in like working with non-for-profits is I've often inherited systems where the people who set it up didn't really know what they were doing in the first place. So then it's set up incorrectly at the beginning, and then you have to deal with that, and then it becomes more complex. So is there sort of a guide that for idiot, like an idiot's guide to how would you set up a CRM in the first place, the very best? I thought I knew a bit about CRMs, and I've learned stuff today. And I realized that I'm really out of date, because when I was doing CRM, like looking for CRMs, things like, getting their Facebook feed straight into your CRM was like never even, like not even thought of. So, so we, there's always things we can learn. And I don't know if there's such a thing as a checklist of the basics that you should be asking yourself.
There it is.
Right. They do make that book, yes. And in the chat that I sent you, I sent you a bunch of the links. I'm happy to send them to you in email if you want. Contact me. But for example, let's go to which one was it? You see, pick the best, right? If I open, why isn't that? Oh, it is open. Okay.
You got to share your screen though.
I will. I have to first make sure I didn't open something wrong by mistake, right? That's like,
that would be
I want to embarrass the whole. Okay, now, oh God, hey, you want to see Spotify again? No? Okay. So this is the PC Magazine best CRM software for 2021, right? Can't be more current than that. So they have all different categories, right? Best easy to use, best for basic, best for integration with Zendesk, if you're using a Zendesk person, if you're that person. Best for Zoho platform customers, because a lot of these integrate with other platforms, software, application, program, tools, as we call them, okay? And, they go through the pros and cons, and they compare the specs of whatever you want. They talk to you about what is a CRM, and so you will get, I think here pricing and add-ons, but somewhere they might have a list of sort of questions. I don't know if it's a checklist per se. I don't remember if it was this one. You can look online. I don't want to scroll for you guys. You can do it yourself. Which ones send the best, or features in social media these days, lead management. So you have to see what works, but there are those that will do it for you, that have checklists out there.
Arnie.
Yes.
You spent all the time talking about CRM and how we're going to use the same lingo as the customer. There are DRMs, donor relationship managers, that are specifically for nonprofits. So
correct. But I wanted you to understand the world of it. Like I said, so
for sure. It all starts.
So Donor Perfect, right? Donor Perfect, Salesforce for nonprofits, and Shai's Magbeat are 99.9% donor and fundraising related. That's really what they do. Okay. You should look at Monday.com also. I think Monday is a pretty basic one and easy to run, and they probably have a checklist on their website here. In fact, I just found one here while we were talking. Anyone else? What can I do for you? Here, I'm going to put this in the chat. This is your checklist, Deborah. It looks pretty good. Okay.
Again, but that's for that here. That's for customer. I think I actually looked
Okay.
for Seder.
Yeah.
I'll when I looked for donor, because I spent some time at these CRMs and it was mostly business, and I said, well, I want something
Right.
more specific, and then I found another comparison trick, and that's how I discovered Bloomerang also. So
Right.
we're all in this
Okay.
together, because
Yeah. So I will just tell you what I tell. My real job, I didn't introduce myself properly. I apologize. I represent foundations mostly. So all of you nonprofits out there, be happy to hear from you. I represent foundations for the last 25 years. I also, in the last 25 years, work in high tech and in these days, mostly social media and website building and things related for nonprofits and for small business. I do consulting to high tech startups, mostly in social tech and tech for good, that kind of stuff. So I can get more advanced in certain areas. CRMs are not my forte. You know, like I'm not even a sophisticated user. Some of you are much more, in any given platform, you're much better at it.
of course.
So I understand the behind the scenes of it more because of my tech background. But, if I can help you in other areas, please feel free. I'm always happy to help. Hopefully you've noticed that online. And if we get into a business arrangement, then I'll let you know if it costs money. But in general, I like to just help. It's nice out there. And my point is, we should all help each other. And as a donor and as a foundation rep for about a dozen different foundations, I will tell you the thing I like most is when I see nonprofits working together and not competing. Everyone's shaking their head, yes, up and down, shaking your head, good. That's good. So don't be afraid. Share your donor list. Help each other. I will tell you the best thing I've ever had is, when a nonprofit says to me, do you know about such and such nonprofit? You should really check them out because they're doing really good stuff. Well, that's great. And you think I'm going to give you less money because you recommended me somebody else? No. It's good for everybody. It's a win-win. Okay? Don't be afraid.
Arnie, you
Okay.
said, before I've got to think about half a minute. You said share your donor lists. Can you clarify what you meant? You don't expect me to put it up online or to say, hey,
No.
you should.
No, but if you're working with somebody in the same relative field, right? I mean, if someone's feeding hungry people and somebody else is building an art museum, okay, so there's probably not much to relate there. But if you have a donor that likes art, and that's not what you're doing, right, in particular, even if you are, but
you also like
then share that with somebody else and say to the donor, look, I want to share substance with you. I think they're great people. They're doing great work. Everybody will like that. Trust me.
So it's not really share your donor list. It's share your friends list with your donors. Your colleagues.
It can work both ways. Yeah.
It's all one big happy family. So if anybody else?
I just wanted to thank you for taking this initiative, for offering us, free hadracha. And if you ever want to suggest another topic and teach us more things, I personally would be very happy. Or if anybody else here, or maybe it's something that I'll write in the Facebook group. I personally work for an organization right now where I'm the only Anglo. It's a small organization. We're only 5 people in the office, including the CEO, and I'm the only Anglo. And I feel like I have no dialogue with. I speak Hebrew fluently. That's not the issue. They speak English fluently. It's a very different mindset. And also no one else is doing resource development except for me. and the CEO, and he's busy. So yeah, I just feel like I get a lot from hearing native English speakers speak. Yeah, I'm just putting that out there. I'd really appreciate that you did this. And like somebody else, I did post in the group, in the Facebook group, and a bunch of people responded saying they would be happy to just talk to me. And I did speak to one person, and he really helped me, and he gave me some really good advice. I'm still gonna call him again. So it is really nice.
I'm happy to speak to you. It's really what I do in my high-tech function. I consult to startups, which are usually 3, 4, 5 Israelis, and I become the only English speaker, and I'm the one who does all their PR and marketing and everything related to them. Is this topic of interest to you? I'm going to show you my screen. I'm happy to share all my secrets of how to do social media. This presentation is for Olim, for new immigrants who are job searching. And I explained to them how important it is to put themselves out there on social media to look for work and to make themselves well known. I'm happy to give that presentation. And
wow, I would love that. Yeah, that would be amazing.
That's good for you. So we'll schedule it. I don't know if anybody else is interested.
I think that it would really be a nice idea to have a once a month, I think, get together with a speaker. I don't think that Arnie has to be the only speaker.
I like to listen too. So.
And through the Facebook group,
Fine.
Okay, Arnie, I'll send you the recording and the chat history, and you can put that up on your on your YouTube, and then share it at the group.
Yeah, that's terrific. I'll do that. And if you want the presentation today, I'll put my email in the chat. Hold on, I have to look over there and make sure I didn't misspell anything.
Thanks, Arnie. I have to head off. Thanks a lot so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Be well. ajdraiman@gmail.com. Please feel free. You can send me an email. Happy to send you back whatever you want. Just let me know what you want. That's not a problem. Thank you, Guidon, again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
My pleasure.
When they're only
Bye. Madi,
Thank you
by
very
the way,
much.
Madi, I know you, right?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you remember, but I certainly remember you.
And Sarah, of course. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys still doing good work?
We're trying to. Actually, last year, my colleague and I took over Sarah's position, and Sarah left, and we took over as co-CEOs a month before the pandemic. So it's been a great first year.
Right.
And
who was that? Zohar? Am I just guessing?
Zohar, yeah. Zohar and me are co-CEOs now. And it's been a challenging year, but we're trying to do our best. And yeah.
Haven't heard from you since the summer. So whatever, let me know. I'm happy to help. You know
Thank
that.
you. Thank you
saw
so
that.
much.